Hey guys and girls, welcome to another Sunday afternoon chat. It's more like a Sunday evening chat. It's late in the evening, not too long before dark. It has been so hot today, and after Chris and I got home from church we watched a little bit of Dodger baseball on television, and she wanted to take a nap. I think we watched about 3 innings. They were getting beat 2-0. And so I let her take a nap, and then I had a lot of book work I got involved in, and I just let the afternoon slip away from me and didn't get to get out here and do this chat. And she finally woke up, and she's watching television now. And I'm going to go out and take care of the babies, feed the baby deer, and let them run around a little bit. And we had a great week with the deer. All the deer are just doing great. We've got I've been letting the babies out just about every day, and Chris has been taking care of them and feeding them and having a good time. My daughter Sherri came down and took care of Chris and the deer while I was gone over to the big Fishers of Men's conference in Paris, Texas, and we'll talk about that in a minute. That was just a outstanding event. Big thanks to Mike Fortenberry over there and Wade White, my buddy Dr. Andy Bowman, who was my preacher for 14 years at Keys Baptist Church, was the main speaker in that at that event, and it's just absolutely fantastic. I got to speak both on Friday night and Saturday and just had a great time. But Sherri came over, and while she did let the babies out one evening, the evening while she was here Friday evening and running around, she shot a little video of that. She said it was really some funny stuff. I hadn't looked at it. She only shot about a 10 or 12 minute video, and I'll try to get Pat to put that together and throw it up there in a little video this week. And you see Sherri visiting her mama Chris and visiting little Whitey. But basically, of course, Lucille and Wildchild, they run around with her also. But little Whitey was happy to see her. I understand. He was very happy to see her. But anyway, it's been a great week. It's great. It's been a super week. I did get to fish 2 days. I got to fish this last Tuesday with a little buddy of mine that came down, a young man, Seth Glover, and his dad Jack. And Seth came down all the way from Somerset, Kentucky, to spend a day fishing with us, and gosh, we had a great time. Golly, we had a great time. Seth has been battling some cancer, and he's in pretty good shape right now, but he's had some real serious battles with that. And this was a fishing trip through Hunt of a Lifetime. Hunt of a Lifetime is very much like Make-A-Wish. I know a lot of y'all support the Hunt of a Lifetime organization. Very much like Make-A-Wish, and they used to take kids hunting. I'm not sure they take kids hunting anymore, but they do give them a special trip, just like Make-A-Wish. And they had a choice between coming and going fishing with me and going peacock bass fishing, and they chose to go with me. In fact, they told me about that, and they said it wasn't even any doubt. No, we're going to go down and fish with Jimmy. And we fished here at Twin Eagle Lake right here behind me. We fished from daylight. They got here really early in the morning, and we got out there at daylight, and we fished until about 11:30 or 12 o'clock. Seth caught the biggest bass he had ever caught in his life. He caught that fish right before we quit, around noon. And by noon, it got up close to 100 degrees already. We had a little cloud cover that morning with Seth and with Jack, and we had a little bit of breeze. Was really a pretty nice morning. That wind kind of laid down about, we're getting up around 11 o'clock or so. From about 11 till about noon was really beginning to get really hot. So we called it a day. I think we caught 37 bass. So that's a pretty good day. And to quit at noon, pretty good day to quit at noon. So that was an incredibly great day. We had a lot of fun. The next day I got to take one of our homeboys from over around Lake 10 Killer, Tahlequah, Oklahoma, Stillwell, Oklahoma, Westville, Oklahoma. One of my homeboys from over there, Mark Wayne Mullins, who is our United States Congressman representing our district. That district actually covers over there and clear down to here. It's kind of a long district. And Mark Wayne has been our congressman, our United States Congressman. We only have 5 congressmen in Oklahoma for the last 10 years, I believe. I think 8 or 10 years. He is right now running for the United States Senate, trying to become one of our senators. One of our senators is retiring this year, and he is running for that seat. They have a runoff here later this month, and then a general election, of course, in November, when the big election comes in November. I want to urge everyone, get out there and vote this fall. Get out there and vote. There's a lot of complaining and griping going on. Social media is the worst place in the world for it, about things that are going on in this country, both good and bad, and blaming one party or the other, or blaming one person or the other. But I'm going to tell you, one of the things that we're allowed to do in this country is we're allowed to vote. We are allowed to vote, and we need to be voting in every single election. We need to be paying attention to the people that we're voting for. We need to know what they like, what they don't like, what they stand for, what they don't stand for. Their beliefs need to match up with ours. We don't need to worry about whether they're a Democrat or Republican. Honestly, that is the worst way in the world to vote, is to vote a party of one or the other. And that's important to the parties, but so many times after many of those people get in office, they really don't care about us. It's all about the party. And I want someone representing me, whether it's my county commissioner, whether it's my governor, my United States senator, my congressman, any of the various offices that are held by politicians. I want them representing me here in Oklahoma. I want them representing me here in Murray County or Cherokee County, or I want them representing me here in the United States of America. And it's just amazing how so many of them don't once they get in office. So you don't really have any right to complain about that if you're not out there voting, and your guy or girl won't always win. And when they win, try to support them as much as possible. I know sometimes some people get in office that take us down the wrong path, and it's hard to support, but try to support them as much as you can. And let me tell you what you need to do if you can't support what they're doing, is pray for them. Pray for the people that run your city. Pray for the people that run your state. Pray for the people that run this great country of America. And they may be going in the wrong direction, but God can grab them and straighten them out sometimes, and He will, and He does many times. I've seen politicians get elected to office that didn't have too close of a walk with God. Once they got in office, they decided that, by golly, they better have a close walk to God. They needed a close walk to God. They had to have one in order to do the job that the people elected them to do. So, but anyway, that was great. Mark Wayne Mullins brought his wife and kids over here. He's got a wonderful family, and we fished again from daylight up until about noon. And boy, it got really hot. That last hour and a half, it really got hot there. The fish bit extremely well early in the morning. I think we ended up catching 58 or 59 bass. We had a great day, which is some pretty terrific fishing for 100-degree days. It got to 107 here at Twin Eagle again today. It was 100 degrees when I walked out here to do this video, and we're getting close to dark. The deer are out moving around, the turkey are out moving around. We're going to let the babies out here just in a few minutes when I get through. Friday and Saturday night this week, I got to go down to Paris, Texas. I've been through Paris, Texas a jillion times. We went through there every time, going down to our ranch that we used to have in Texas that we owned for quite a while before we sold. Used the money to buy this ranch right here. Big Fishers of Men's Conference. This was a men's conference, not a family conference, just a men's conference. We had over 500 men there, and it was a tremendous conference. I saw some of my friends I hadn't seen in years and years and years. Some of the kids that I run around with back when I was a teenager on Lake Tenkiller came to that conference, and I just appreciated seeing them so much and being able to hug them and shake their hands. And my buddy Mike Ford, who used to play quarterback for SMU, y'all probably don't remember much of his passing statistics. Most of the time, he turned around and hand the ball off to a guy named Eric Dickerson, or turned the other way and hand the ball off to a guy named Craig James, two of the best running backs ever in the history of college football, both great professional fishermen. Well, Mike Ford is a great friend of mine, him and his wife Lori, and Lori was with one of her friends and didn't come to the conference, but it was a men's conference. I think that's why she didn't come as well, because she had Todd talked to her on the phone earlier that week, and she said she was looking forward to being there. But Mike was there, and I saw several other people that I've known throughout the years, and I just appreciate all y'all coming. It was a great conference. The speakers, Andy Bowman was the main preacher there, and Andy was he was my preacher for 14 years over at Keys Baptist Church. He challenged the men. He challenged the men to be the kind of men that God called them to do. And I'll talk about that a little bit here at the end of this myself. But I just want to thank all of the men that was there. And let me tell you, there was hundreds of men that left there better men than when they came. They'll be better fathers. They'll be better husbands. They'll be better grandfathers. They'll be better friends and associates. They'll be better bosses and employees because of the things that went on to that there. And let me tell you, if they have a men's conference anywhere around close to you, whether you're a Christian or not, man, go to that men's conference. We need better men in this country of ours. We need better men. Those of you that are involved and get our Jimmy Houston Outdoors newsletter, we hadn't talked about that in quite a little while on these channels, and but I wanted to let you know a new feature that we have. I think Kyle has put it out on Facebook, tell you a little bit about it on Facebook. But now you can just simply text 22828. That's right, 22828. 22828. 5 numbers, 22828. If you text 22828 and then you put Jimmy News, JIMMYNEWS, all one word, Jimmy News, you'll get an answer right back telling you to put your email in, and that will automatically qualify you for the Jimmy Houston Outdoors newsletter, which we put out on the first of the month every single solitary month. We've been doing that now for about a year now, and I'm going to tell you, it is really, really, really a good newsletter. Now, I'm not patting myself on the back because I really don't have a lot to do with that. My grandson Kyle, that's his project. That's what he does in our company, amongst a lot of other things. He's the one that ships you all your spinner baits and rods and reels and t-shirts and Catch a Better Life books and everything else that you get from JimmyHouston.com, and we ship out a lot of merchandise. So if you can't find Red Man spinner baits, you can't find Legend spinner baits or some of the Lucky Strike lures, go to JimmyHouston.com. We got a lot of them. You can buy our rods and reels on there. You can buy Jimmy Houston Outdoors hats and t-shirts. But Jimmy's News is a great newsletter. We've got all kinds of things in there that will help you in your fishing. It will help you in operating your Mercury outboards. It will help you in operating your tracker and your Ranger boats. It will help you with power poles, your electronics. It's a really, really good newsletter, and we touch a lot of things in there. It's absolutely free. We don't charge anybody anything for that newsletter, and all we need is your email address. We don't need your address or anything like that. We need your email address, and we will put you on that newsletter list. We've got about 7,000 or 8,000 people that are on that newsletter list right now, and I think once we hit 11,000, which we should do sometime pretty soon, I think Kyle's got some prizes or something he's going to give away. He sort of set that mark at 11,000 when he's going to start giving away some prizes. But you can just text with a text message, hit the text message, text 22828, type in Jimmy News, JIMMYNEWS. It will send you a text right back asking for your email, and you put it in there and you're subscribed. That's all it takes. 22828. I think you could probably text that and put your email in there and it'd be fine. I don't know. I didn't try that. I tried that myself just to see how it would work. Again, a great big thank you to Mike Fortenberry, Wade White, and Andy Bowman for that Fisher's and Men's Congress, and a great big giant thank you to all the men from those churches down there in Paris, Texas, Mike's and Wade's and some other churches around that came and helped. There were probably a dozen preachers at that conference. I mean, I'm going to tell you, it's challenging when you got preachers out there listening to you speak about the Word of God, and it's an honor for me to get to speak about the Word of God, and I get to go around the country and do that, maybe 15 or 20 or 25 churches a year, and it's a big honor for me to get to do it. Deer are doing great. We have decided to go ahead and build our deer pen for our albinos, our larger deer pen. It's going to be considerably larger than it is now. Some of you have commented that it's really probably not right to keep those white albino deers in such a small enclosure, and I agree. Plus we have 2 baby bucks that are doing just great, Casper and Ice. Boy, are they growing. And Casper and Ice will have their own enclosures. This fall, Fritz Charming would not be charming around Casper and Ice. He would kill them. During the rut. So they'll have their own enclosures, and we might put a couple of does in there with them. They might or might not be large enough to breed come this fall. We might even put Lucille and Wildchire in there with them for a while. Lucille and Wildchire are going to be running totally free, as is Little Forest. They will not be. The only time that Little Forest might end up back in an enclosure, if he gets some real big set of antlers on him, we might put him back in there with some deer to breed for a short period of time or something like that. But the deer are doing great. Chris is enjoying the deer a lot. We're having a lot of video of the deer running around the yard and stuff, and I know a lot of you like that kind of stuff. I know that we've had a few complaints on our antler video about spending so much time feeding split ear, but I know that a lot of you ladies especially, and a lot of you guys too, like to see split ear and us feeding split ear, and I know it's an antlers video, but we probably will continue to give split ear a pound or 2 pounds of carrots and apples every week when we go in there and shoot that deer video, and y'all just kind of have to fast forward through that or something, I guess, if you don't really want to watch that. We've got another busy week planned this week, as always. One of the great things we're going to be doing this week is be going out to Phoenix, Arizona for the Mid-State Distributor Show. Now, that show is not open to the public, and I only mention it because if you happen to be there at that show, and it's a big, giant show, a really big show for Mid-State Distributors. Mid-State sells a lot of hardware stores, a lot of little mom-and-pop tackle stores, a lot of smaller farm stores and things. They sell a lot of big farm stores. They sell Atwoods, as a matter of fact, too. But they provide a lot of the merchandise for a lot of the people. I'll be out there with Shell Rotella, and we'll be out there visiting with some of Shell Rotella's customers. One of their customers is right here in Oklahoma. Atwoods is a company that we have good friends down there at Atwoods, and you can buy our rods and reels at Atwoods, as a matter of fact. And but we'll be out there in Phoenix on this coming Friday and Saturday at that Mid-State Show. And I say that just because if you happen to be working at that Mid-State Show and another manufacturer's office, they have all kinds of stuff out there: hunting goods, fishing tackle, bird feeders, all kinds of feed and seed, and all kinds of oils and polishes and waxes, and hundreds and hundreds of products. I mean, it's a wonderful show. I enjoy walking and looking at what they have down there, and I see a lot of people that I know there. But if you happen to be at that show, come by the Shell Rotella booth. We won't have a very big booth. I'm going to have one of the Tracker off-roads side-by-sides in there that I'm going to borrow to put in our booth from our Bass Pro Shop store there in Mesa. We've got a Bass Pro Shop and a Cabela's right there in the Phoenix area, and so I'm going to put a 4x4 Tracker off-road side-by-side. So if you want to take a look at those, see what one of those looks like. That's a Cadillac. That's one just exactly like the one I've got. I will be there this coming Friday and Saturday, August 19th and 20th. So if you happen to be at that show, come by and say hi. I'll be in the Shell Rotella booth pretty much all the time, except when they let me take a few minutes and walk around and look at the show myself. I'll be at the Bigfoot Festival. The Bigfoot Festival is the last weekend of this month. That's right, the last weekend in August. I'll be on Saturday, August 27th. Now, that's just outside of Knoxville, out on Cherokee Lake. I believe it is in Morristown, Tennessee. We'll get a little more information up as we get closer to that. That's only a couple weeks away. I'll be there on August 27th at that Bigfoot Festival. My buddy Tim Girardi, the Mountain Man, will be there. My buddy the Turtle Man will be there. There's a lot of other people, paranormal folks. It's a Bigfoot and paranormal festival. It will be so much fun. I have been looking forward to this appearance for a long, long time. So we'll be there Saturday, August 27th. We'll be there from the time that show opens that morning till I think about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got to get out there and catch an airplane so I can get back home in time to take my beautiful bride Chris to church on Sunday. Chris is doing really well. Sherri, like I said, Sherri came down and stayed with her a while. I went out and worked a little bit this week. She's staying here at the ranch with me 100% of the time right now, and she's just doing remarkably well. She loves going outside and watching the animals, and I can't wait for the weather to break a little bit where we can be out there a little bit more time during the day than just, when the evening, when it finally gets down below that 100-degree mark. The Turbo Power Plus deal that we had going is still available. That's where they'll give you 7 once daily little 1 ounce daily packets. They'll give you 7 of those for free. You pay $4.95 for the shipping. That's still available. Turbo Power Plus. I know we have a link that you can go to that on that video, or you can, I think, go to turbopowerplus.com and probably get to that deal also. With that deal, they're continuing to do that deal. We had lots of people order. I've had a lot of people that have commented how much it has given them more energy. So you might want to think about that if you didn't take advantage of that free week supply of Turbo Power. Try it for a week and see what happens. If you don't have any more energy, just don't worry about it. If you do, it's something you might be drinking a swig of every day. I want to end this thing real quickly. I've gone a little bit longer than I intended. I went and end it with some words from the Bible. And this is how Dr. Andy Bowman started his talk. And I'm not a preacher. I can't pretend to preach, and definitely not qualified mentally or spiritually or educationally to preach, but at all. But he talked about, he said, I want to start this talk here this evening with some words from the Bible, which that's the way preachers pretty much start any talk. But he said, I want to talk to the words spoken by a heathen. Words spoken by a heathen, and that heathen's name was Goliath. Now, even if you don't know much about the Bible, you know about David and Goliath. David, a young shepherd boy that fought this big giant that was almost 8 foot tall. big man of war, had been a warrior ever since he was a boy, and he was descendants from the giants. And he came out every day and challenged the children of Israel, challenged their army. One army was on one side of the valley, one was on the other side. And he came out every day and he said, give me a man to fight me. If I can defeat that man and kill him, we'll be your servants. If that man can defeat me and kills me, we'll be your servants, and if I kill your guy, you'll be our servants. And he came out day after day after day, and he did taunt God. He did shake his fist in the face of God. He did throw rocks at God, but he kept saying, give me a man, give me a man, give me a man. In Israel, there was no man brave enough to challenge him until little David came along, a shepherd boy. And you know the story. David picked up a rock, slung a slingshot, but sunk the rock right in the middle of his forehead. Right in the middle of his forehead, killed that giant. And but can I tell you, with things going the way they are, not just in our country, in the world. In Holland, they made them quit farming, but just a few hours a week, and now they're starving to death over there. There's many countries around the country that things have changed so dramatically that people are beginning to starve to death. We are creating, through some of the woke policies that the world is following, we are creating world famine. We ourselves are creating world famine. There's a lot of things going in our schools that the parents don't agree with. There's a lot of things going along in marriages and in business and in obviously politics, but there's so much going on. And I just want to tell you that I think God is saying the same thing that heathen Goliath was saying. Give me a man. Give me a man. Give me a man. And I think the men of our country have become a little bit of a wuss. A little bit of a wuss. I know that's a redneck term, and some of you don't know what I'm talking about. But we've become a little woozy. We're not the kind of men that we should be. We're not the kind of men that our daddies was. We're not the kind of men that our granddads were. And can I tell you, God's looking for men. God's looking for a man that will lead his family. God's looking for a man that will get his wife and kids out of bed on Sunday morning and take them to church. God's looking for a man that will be honest with his wife and kids, that will be faithful to his wife and kids. God's looking for a man that will get up and go to work every day and work a 40-hour, 50-hour, 60-hour, 80-hour, 90-hour week. God is looking for men like that to bring back America to greatness. You know, we have in this country right now, I don't know, 1 million jobs or 3 million jobs or something unfilled, openings for jobs. And yet we have the highest unemployment rate, the lowest participation rate that we've had in a long time, the percentage of people that's actually working. We are still not back to the amount of people that was working before the pandemic. And the pandemic caused a lot of people to be laid off and lose their jobs. And yet there's jobs available. People won't fill them. A lot of the jobs should be filled by a man, filled by a woman. A lot of the jobs in a home, in a house, a man, a woman, a kid, a lot of the jobs that's supposed to be done by the man is being done by the woman. She's not doing it because she's a bossy woman. She's doing it because, I heard that. I heard a turkey. Ow, 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 ow. But yeah, he said there's one talking right now. But a lot of times a woman is doing a man's job because her husband's not doing it. Can I just challenge you, men? Stand up and be a man. Take your kids to church. Gather them around the dinner table. Pray with them. Pray for them. Praying with them and praying for them is something that really and truly a lot of men don't do these days. They just think that everything's going to be hunky-dory with my wife and kids. You need to be praying for your wife and kids every single solitary day. God is asking the men of America, is there a man out there? Is there a man out there? Men, be that man in your family. Be a man. Be a man at your workplace. Be a man raising your kids. Be a man. Be a man. And I promise you, America will get better and better because America was built by great men. Great men. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. And remember, I surely do love you.